It started off with tier 2 teams cooking up something unimaginable. Then it was played on Ascent, a map where the meta was considered figured out, where every team played the exact comp. In a map like that, cracks began to form in the meta as this new comp emerged. A double sentinel comp with Cypher and Deadlock. Now it's made its way into tier 1. In Leviatan, the number 1 team in the Americas League picked it up. Now they face off against G2, the number 2 team in the league, in the grand finals of VCT Americas. But there's a problem. Cypher and Deadlock are both defense specialists, but Leviatan are starting on attack. To make matters worse, Ascent is a map that heavily favors the defenders. But Leviatan are about to show us a step-by-step masterclass on how the top team in the league wields this new comp. Thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Have you ever heard of War Thunder? It's an intense free game where you can control and experience pretty much any military vehicle ever. We're talking thousands of tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, you name it. You can choose vehicles from 10 different major nations, ranging from the relics of the 1920s to the modern fighter jets and tanks of today. Now, the attention to detail in this game is insane. Every vehicle is intricately modeled down to its individual components, like engines, fuel tanks, and even the crew. And different types of armor, shells, and missiles interact with them just like their real-world counterparts. The hyper-realistic vehicles are amazing, but the combat is just as mind-blowing. You can play 3 different modes, each progressively ramping up the realism. Arcade mode suits people that crave fast-paced matches with enhanced vehicle performance and super simple physics. On the other hand, simulator mode ditches all guardrails for the ultimate challenge. And realistic mode is the perfect middle ground, striking a balance between intensity and authenticity. And best of all, you are not alone. When you play War Thunder, you'll be joining a worldwide community of over 70 million players. So what are you waiting for? War Thunder is completely free on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Give it a try by signing up using my link in the pinned comment or description below. And here's a special gift. New and returning players who haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack on PC or consoles. This includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. This offer is available for a limited time only, so quickly claim it while you can. The team that wins this crucial pistol round will be the first to snowball a lead. G2 think that Leviatan are going to group up and rush down the lane together. With this in mind, G2 open with a 1-2-2 spread. 2 players are starting in spawn. This lets G2 have fast rotates to both sites, but G2's read is wrong. Leviatan are not rushing a site. As a matter of fact, they're doing the exact opposite. Leviatan open with a 2-2-1 default, and they have a tactical sequence prepared just for this match. The barriers drop, Leviatan recon and smoke B main. This recon pressures B main while scanning for any early G2 aggression, and this smoke steals away G2's line of sight into B main, denying them all info. More importantly, this smoke makes up for fatal weakness in Leviatan's comp. Because they replaced a flash agent for Deadlock, Leviatan have no flashes to pop out of chokes, meaning they'll probably get mowed down if they try. But a deep smoke like this will give Leviatan more angles to flood out from, turning a B main rush from a suicide mission to a viable strat. G2 see this, so Trent shifts towards B and Jonah P picks up mid. But Leviatan are not B main. Instead, Com immediately Silver drones up mid
to get you on the right footing.
Jonah P breaks the drone from spawn. B main pressure plus a drone mid. This looks like Leviatan are splitting B, G2 are saying. But first, Jonah P wants more info to make sure.
They got through mid there, the drone is dealt with.
He spots Com walking towards Cat. Jonah P saying, they're just faking B, watch out Cat. So Jonah P rotates to A while Trent picks up mid. But Com also knows that Jonah P saw him walking towards Cat. So Leviatan called to slow it down, but still end with the original strat. Fake mid, hit A.
Somebody that's going to be hard committed on G2's side of things, but cage up through and around that barrier mesh. We've seen this one before. Blocks off the rotate, so looking to try and mate.
Trent draws first blood. At the same time, Leviatan's Cat players walk into tree. They take contact with Aspas. The jig is up, Leviatan speed up their hit, but with a twist.
Over towards A, and guess what, G2, there's an awareness there. Especially now we're going to be knowing it. Jonah Pedo.
Leviatan pads into Garden and catches G2 off guard. Get it? Jonah P and Trent falls. Leviatan carved their way into G2 territory. Valen and Icy are terrified on A right now. They know they could get peeked from Tree, Heaven, and A main. They have no space on site, so they're forced to bunker down in hell. Leviatan know that because they have a numbers advantage, that G2 are likely to make an aggressive play to get back into the round. So they call to cut noise and wait for G2 to make a mistake.
And we're still on the right side of this wall to be able to rotate. Now Lev can wait for it to fall, pivot in either direction. I mean, look how separated the G2 players are.
Time is ticking down. No one's peeking into Leviatan, so they call to end A. It'll be right into G2's stronger site, but it's still a 4v2 fight. Neither team has any info. This first contact will decide everything.
Even a bit of a pause into the round here. Silently now going to be creeping up towards that A side. Contacts core. That's going to be Valen. And now second up, straight up, trying to take up that fight, but Icy can't quite land it. Not with the Sheriff. Shock dart. Rebounding. Dodge and avoid it. Still jumping around and away. A lot of damage done. Potentially there, but a slam dunk finish. Leaf going to be hot. Trying to bike so he can find that timing, but he is in this 1v2. Doubled up. Aspas and King side by side. Trying to play this one with the numbers advantage.
One headshot each.
That could do it. Drops down, makes the sound cue. Waiting for that repeat, but maybe hearing both of them there. Could have been comped out, flashed up into his face! Jumping blind as a bat, and he's going for round 2. So much damage done, King. Single digits of HP, and Leaf just runs them down.
Leviatan are probably going to lose this round. After all, they only have pistols against G2's anti-eco buy, so to make the most out of this round, Leviatan want to grab a nut orb, specifically this A main orb. But Jonah P seems ready for this? The bears drop, Jonah P instantly knives A main. The knife scans 3 Leviatan players, but Leviatan were able to get their util off right before they got suppressed. Silver recon lineup to clear wine and a grab net A main to punish a G2 peak. Aiming control is Leviatan's, but they're not stopping there.
Much Leviatan will cook up. Can't quite get those pistol rounds.
And Valen mows down Leviatan before they could even get out of the choke. Leviatan's plan was to have their main pack make a ton of noise A main and fast execute onto site. And while G2's attention is on A main, King would lurk up cat late while Tex would fish for a pick mid. But Valen single-handedly shattered that strat with his stinger. G2 up 5v3. King knows he needs to find an equalizing kill, so he walks forward cat. But Jonah P is aware of this.
As well.
Shoulder spotted. Jonah P flashes to push back the lurk and also backs off. He doesn't want to risk giving up G2's numbers advantage by taking a fight by himself. With King taking contact cat, Tex lurks up mid, also hunting for an equalizing pick. But Trent's spidey senses are tingling. It's too quiet in tree, despite Jonah P just taking contact cat. So Trent drones mid for info.
Thinking twice about it, so Leviatan options limited for them. For G2, I want to cast your minds back to a narrative that we've kind of forgotten at this point.
As the skirmish is happening mid, Leaf snags the B main orb, and Calm, who rotated all the way from A, just barely misses the timing to punish it. But now with the spike B, Leviatan make their final call to fake A, but actually end B. But G2 are aware of this possibility. Since Leaf's killjoy turret is holding deep B main control, Trent and Leaf call to double up market to punish a mid play right as Tex begins walking up.
Once they learn to adapt, over time, the more time that you give them, which is useful in a best of 5.
You're right, generally the better they
Okay.
Leviatan deletes G2's B players. Uh-oh, this is disastrous for G2. So Jonah P and Valen call to rush down the lurker cat to stabilize the round.
Just trying to put everybody to sleep here, but the plant is down here for Com. Watching this one down. Just need to land these reloads inside. Sidearms being pulled out. King is on a single digit, but eventually cleaned up. Com. He's repositioned in the middle of all of this. Out through main. The question is it expected? The gun's not so ideal for this scenario. Icy's going to be trying to lead this one in again with an outlaw into his hands, and he's heard the double jump down. Com, he's been given the timing. It's all about when he chooses to take it. Knows that they passed him now, and he just rips it away. Valen's gone. Smoke burst. Cloud burst just denying a little bit of this one here, but straight through the wall as well. Icy has to dodge and juke around. Com, 70 health, Icy sticking. It's the only real wing con available. Half onto the board as well. Needs to land his shot as well, but he's been absolutely played like a fiddle. by!
And Icy wins G2 their anti-eco, but boy did Leviatan make it expensive. But the price tag is just a tip of the iceberg. Little do G2 know, Leviatan's grand plan is already set in motion. A seed has been planted. Now, we wait for it to bloom. Remember last round how Leviatan killed 4 players of G2 with just pistols? Well, the consequences of that have rippled into this round. Leviatan have a strong full buy, while G2 can only scrape together this very weak buy on their bonus round. But because they have such a bad buy, they call to gamble for a main this round, and the read is right. Leviatan are also heavy A main. Both teams want A main control. This could be explosive.
Well, that damage done though. Just on the eke around for Lev means that the money's bad, but TP forwards, they don't expect this one right behind him. Grabbed it, locks them all down into place. King happy to take it all the way around.
What a clash! Jonapi had the flash lineup for G2's push. When the barriers dropped, G2 sprinted forward. Valen TP'd up for better timing and Trent recons A lobby. But King also TP's across A main. But because both Omens TP'd at the same time, their TP sounds overlapped, so G2 didn't actually process that King TP'd across. This resulted in King quickly killing Valen, which minimized the deaths of his full flash team to only 1. But Trent, a world-class player, couldn't trade Valen. Why? It's because Mazzino slapped a 300 IQ Sonic Sensor A main off the start, which will full stun any defender stomping forward on their aggression. Plus, Com also threw his wine recon, so Trent had to quickly turn around to break the recon and then immediately got stunned by the Sonic Sensor, which gave King his second kill. Jonapi knifes the wall, scans King, so he knows that King is trapped Cubby, and Jonapi wants revenge. He mollies and swings out, but King brought his friends, and Jonapi ends up getting mowed down by the pack of Leviatan. With that, the dust settles in A main, Leviatan up 4v2. But while World War III was happening A main, a quieter battle was happening on the other side of the map. Leaf has his usual B main turret to get early info B main. The round starts, Tex cages across in B main. This blocks off the turret's line of sight and threatens across past the first B main angle. Tex then trips inside the cage, which prevents the defender from pushing past that trip. But Leaf can hear all this util, and at this point, since his team's getting owned A main, he knows he needs to take a risk, so he walks up behind the cage, waits for it to drop, and breaks the trip. But now that his position's known, Leaf's forced to back off. But his turret is still holding the deep B main line, so Leaf is the winner of this B main battle. Don't forget this B main interaction, because this is going to be vital in understanding how the rest of this game plays out. Back towards A main, Com drones up A.
2 left to stand.
The drone spots nothing. Com grabs the alt orb. Then Leviatan called to cut all noise, wait for Tex to regroup, and then re-hit A with their numbers advantage. As for G2, they don't know if Leviatan are going to hit A with that drone, or if it was just a fake drone to mask the rotate B. Since they don't have the manpower to spread out, G2 are forced to guess, and they call to commit stacking A. So this final clash at A will decide the round.
Using those sonic sensors early on to stop A main pressure.
Bot coming back.
Lev take A main and then they throw down a sonic sensor, and it makes it very difficult to re-clear or re-fight over A main control, because then you're just getting stunned up. Lev calling the pause, hoping that G2 spread out.
The gamble from G2 though, they are sticking to the side, running them down with a Bucky in hand. Leaf only gets to 1 hit. There's so much damage being done to Icy, you can't imagine there's any way you're winning this one, but never say never. Here's it, into the corner.
And Leviatan take round 3. Both teams are on full buys, but Leviatan have already begun planting the seeds of conditioning, and this round is just the beginning of their harvest. Leviatan opened with a 2-1-2 default. Mazzino and King are hugging the A barriers, and Com is starting all the way in attacker spawn? As for G2, they open with a 2-0-3 spread. Towards B, Leaf has his turret holding the deep B main line, and off that contact, Trent is going to spam through the wall with his Odin. Along with that oppressive B setup, G2 are also stacked A. They are ready to receive an A rush. The round begins, Valen throws a one-way smoke A main. As for Leviatan, King TP's onto the box and Mazzino throws a sonic sensor close A main. This is the same anti-aggression sensor we saw before. And remember last round how King TP'd across A main and destroyed G2? Well, this round, instead of TPing across, which would counter G2's one-way smoke, he TPs on top of the box onto this high off angle that's very difficult to deal with. But from G2's perspective, both plays sound the exact same, which makes it terrifying to contest A main. So Jonah P knives A main in response. The knife scans both King and Mazzino, but at this exact time, Leviatan's recon lands and clears Wine in A main. Wait a second, comes all the way across the map. Yo, this is the exact same Wine recon as round 2 and 3, and both times Leviatan were heavy A main. But this round, the recon came from B, and Leviatan are actually in a wide spread. So Leviatan is aiming to condition the recon as the heavy A main tell to bait G2 into pushing up elsewhere on the map, where Leviatan will be waiting to punish. So this is the next layer of Leviatan's A main default. At the same time towards B, Tex cipher cages across B main. Trent responds by spamming B main and takes Tex down to half health. Tex is forced to back off, back towards A. With Com's recon clearing all of A main, G2 know they've lost that space, but they aren't giving up that easily. Valen smokes A main to threaten a reinsert into Wine. This smoke also allows G2 to post up on the smoke from anywhere on site. This makes it very scary for Leviatan to swing through the smoke, especially since Leviatan's comp has no flashes. So aiming control is once again G2's. Well, not all of it. So Mazzino uses G2's smoke as free cover to snag the All Orb, and King isn't going to take this loss for free. He throws a lurk smoke at the choke, denying G2's line of sight into A main. At this exact time, Tech cipher cans B main for info. Leaf hears this though, so he peeks and breaks it, retaking B main control for G2. Back towards A, with Leviatan smoking the choke off and no G2 players inserted in Wine, aiming control swings back to Leviatan. Mazzino throws a sensor deep A main. This is a brilliant sensor. If G2 want to re-aggress A main for info, they will be full stunned, giving Leviatan a huge advantage in that fight. So with this deep sensor placed and King posted in an off angle holding the choke, aiming control is firmly Leviatan's. Back towards B, Leviatan's like, it's very sus that Leaf just swung out B main like that to break our cam, so Com decides to drone B main to re-clear it.
Options just start to run out as well, unless they go for these re-clears.
He sees the turret and Leaf, and he dodges a shock. Aspas walks amid during all this noise, fishing for a pick while Mazzino begins regrouping with a mid. Com knows that Leaf's killjoy turret is a problem since it's single-handedly holding B main control for G2, so he clenches his butt and takes a risk. Com B hops away, only taking a bit of spam damage. The flesh wound was worth it. G2's B main info is gone. But this B main noise was just fake pressure. Aspas and Mazzino are slowly creeping up Cat with the spike. But G2 are ready for this. They're double posted Cat.
Views and lanes that Leviatan could be approaching from, and now there's a big ask onto the shoulders of these players here. It's Icy and Jonah P. Left to push all of this back here, but it's util in the hands of Lev players. Could spell their defeat. There's a jump all the way through. Mazzino, his position's noted. It's cleaned up straight away. And that Hunter's Fury cannot be evaded. Valen,
Absolutely beautiful.
this guy now is going to get minced and pincered out through. Round to the side, Leviatan. It's beautiful in terms of the protocols. You can see it.
Ooh, a sensor in hell. G2 can't break this from heaven.
And then Aspas swinging in afterwards.
Right here.
Trent and Leaf, they had enough of a job to do, just trying to regain B main control throughout all of this round.
And G2 in the 2v5 called a save. But Com is on the other side of the map, hunting for the savers.
Figure out whether Tex was really there or whether it was just cage pressure. Now, being asked to win at 2v5, it's just too much. It's not possible.
Defaulting back, just making sure that they keep control. Keep the rifles in their hands at least.
Jonah P's positioning is supposed to be an off angle that you don't expect.
Com opens the door, exposing G2.
And yet the jump peak leaping over side to side. And now he's looking to try to clean up. It's that same duo again.
And Leviatan close out the round, not leaving a single survivor and bankrupting G2. Last round beautifully showed how Leviatan's double sentinel comp is meant to be played. Slowly poke and prod to work the map, hold that space with a sentinel util, then leverage that space to hit a site. Now, with the foundation set, Leviatan are going to keep building on that. Leviatan opened with a 1-3-1 default. Man, there's always someone starting in spawn, huh? Leviatan know that G2 are on a save, so they're playing back, ready for a potential eco push from G2. But G2 know that's a bit too obvious, so they aren't doing anything aggressive this round. So it looks like it'll be a quiet start, except for A main, where Mazzino and Valen are both hugging the barriers. The round begins. Mazzino grab nets A main, but Valen dodges the net and slips into wine. This is Leviatan still showing A main presence despite not actually being A main. And G2 getting aggressive, but not calling a strat that'll get the whole team wiped. Mazzino backs off A main and leaves King to hold the A main line from all the way in spawn. While A main stuff was happening, Aspas and Calm double swing mid with their big guns. No one spotted, so they slowly begin walking up. But Leaf, who's playing market, wants info.
You can tuck players into wine, like Valen.
He spots 2 players mid. Calm then recons arches, clearing close mid for Leviatan. This pressure forces Leaf back, but then Tex walks up B main and cages across. Leaf and Trent hear this. Right now, G2 know that Leviatan have 2 mid, 1 A main, and just now, Cypher B main. They have a read that Cypher's probably alone on this default, so Leaf starts walking up B main to try to isolate a pick with Trent's help. But Tex then trips inside his cage, holding deep B main control for Leviatan. But G2 can hear this. Trent recons B lobby, creating space for Leaf to break the trip before backing off. B main control is G2's, but now Leviatan know that Trent doesn't have his recon to stop a B push. So Leviatan called to keep it simple, regroup, and hit B.
Matchup, yeah. And I don't think that's disrespectful to Icy either. He's going up against probably the best duelist in the world right now.
Trying to cement that GOAT status.
Ooh, the cage lets Leviatan get past Leaf's Killjoy turret. This might give Leviatan a crazy timing.
Oh, looking to do it again. Nice and grouped up here, Shock Dart. Not quite on the timing, so the drone's going to be getting off, but still not enough to push back Leaf. This guy willing to take this fight. It's Annihilation. It does wrap its way straight round and behind, and there's no real direction. Leaf doesn't know which way to look. Inevitability there for Trent to be finished off. It was just a weaker buy at the end of the day here for G2, so anything they...
A clean hit from Leviatan, they mow down G2. Leviatan take the lead, 3-2. But next round, G2 will be back on a full buy, and they have a plan in mind. Now, this round could get scary. Both teams bought an AWP, and G2 have their Killjoy ult, an ult that can single-handedly win a round on Ascent if used properly. With that in mind, G2 opened with a 1-2-2 spread. They have 2 players plus the AWP B. Their plan is to lock down the B side of the map, and then play retake A with their Killjoy ult. As for Leviatan, they open with a 1-2-2 default. Ospots is opping mid from tiles, so Leviatan wanted to try to lure out a kill for him. The barriers drop, King TPs across A main, Mazzino grab that to choke. Jonah P from tree hears this and responds with his KO knife. The knife scans too, and it actually forced King to fumble his smoke, resulting in his lurk smoke being shallow and leaving a gap. Comms cross-map Silver Recon lands right this instant, completely clearing wine and A main for Leviatan. The smoke King through is decent enough though, so Mazzino uses that as cover to place his anti-push sensor. With this, A main control is secured. Leviatan's players towards mid and B see no one pushing, so it's now time for phase 2 of the default. The mid control. King smokes Cat. Calm drones up mid, but Trent hears this, so he counters with his drone. Both Sovas are trying to clear space for their jet ops.
Yeah, it's so tough. Your info is getting constantly denied by cages, and then you know, you can't re-clear A main into that stun. It's really tough. You'd have to break the stun first. So now it does come down to the jets.
I see. It's not overexposing his body just yet. The alarm bot gives him an indicator, but again, it's being watched for. It's seen, shot missed from either side.
Leviatan all post to mid after the missed shots, but G2 aren't fighting mid. Icy backed off and instantly begin rotating A with Trent. This is because King just threw a lurk smoke tree, threatening an A hit, but Jonah P knifes tree and scans nothing. So Trent pivots back B and only Icy rotates A. But Leviatan also heard Jonah P's KO knife tree and they know it scanned nothing. So Leviatan called a group of Cat and end A.
Both of them know that the op is online. You're going to see the rotation. Lev.
Look at the sonic sensors. I mean, there's one from Mazzino, but gets pulled back. Just maintaining that attack side control.
Making sure that you can't refight as easily if you are G2.
Readdressing the line of scrimmage, pushing it ever further forward, inch by inch into G2's half.
This is the danger. The moment right here. Smoke's dropped down against Valen. Bit of an indicator. There could be players about to swarm the site any minute now. Ult's online. Dash forwards, at least with a blade storm in hand. Aspas willing to take the fight in case there was that anchoring player, but it's not. All offsite here from G2.
Site is open, Leviatan begin planting. They also see that Leaf has his Killjoy ult, and immediately they know G2's game plan. So Leviatan triple up tree, ready to fight Garden where G2 wanted to place their Killjoy ult, and Tex begins late flanking from mid. But G2 are all grouped up, ready for this upcoming bloodbath in Garden.
In front of it, he knows that that's the spot for it. Barrier mesh up on heaven, needs to be broken.
This is going to buy time for Tex on the flank too.
Jonah P's Molly lineup pushes Lev out of tree. Killjoy ult is now activated and ticking.
This timing has been jiggled and spotted and watched. So, choosing to pick and choose your timings. Aspas might be going down with a ship. Indeed he is! Not even blessed with it. Couldn't get the one. That was the goal of all of it. Com. It's down onto that double digits. Needs to try and get a kill here. It's nice with the movement. Still a jar. Valen diffusing all the way and being covered in kind by his team. Tex. They know where he was. Kicking around in mid. They were spotted him earlier. And I'm not giving him any sort of an easy fight.
And G2 cleanly win the retake. Even though Leviatan were aware of G2's game plan and responded accordingly, G2's execution was perfect and they decisively take the round. G2 strike back. It's 3-3. It's time for a twist. So far, Leviatan have been focused on defaulting A and mid while leaving just Tex to default B main alone. Emphasis on alone. He's just like me for real. With that in mind, Leviatan called to finally cash in on what Tex has been cooking up this entire time. So Leviatan opened with everyone B main. As for G2, they open with the standard 2-1-2 spread. They've got their op mid, and Trent is starting in this off angle, ready to spam B main with his Odin off Leaf's Killjoy turret. And with all of Leviatan starting B main, this setup could go huge. The barriers drop, Tex cages across B main. But Leaf hears this, he comes into Trent.
And that can be used as a big ult.
The spam was a bit too early and doesn't connect, so Trent repositions. Meanwhile in B main, Leviatan's cage drops. The pass leaves Killjoy turret. G2 have no idea. But first, Tex says to his team, hey guys, Leaf almost always peeks B main to break my cam. Let's just post up and mow him down when he tries it again.
Very clear indicator, at least for us, that they're going to be trying to send this one out onto the B site. Leaf only has the stinger.
A cross-map KO knife comes in from Jonah P. It scans 4 players, but Com didn't get scanned, so he instantly runs up and drones out to keep making noise for Tex, who's pivoting mid for a late mid lurk. But G2 are also lightning in their response. Jonah P instantly begins taking space A main. Valen smokes off B main, slowing down the push. Then he omen ults onto B site. But Leviatan hear the omen ult, so they call to just chill and reset the round. They leave King to hold the B main space and call to rotate mid, where Tex has already lurked up arches. But will Leviatan expect Icy's op mid and Jonah P's demonic flank from A?
It's the B site. A little bit too obvious at this point.
This is
Catching the
huge.
cross! Is it damage done? I'm not even too sure. Potentially, no. Players unscathed, but wrapping all the way around, not for much longer!
Jonah P tears down Leviatan. He pop flashes to repeat, doesn't see anyone. Then he turns around, knowing he, the flanker, could also be getting flanked. But there's no one there, and Aspas wants revenge.
Giving him the confidence to push out A, realizing nobody was watching it.
Jonah P's worried that Leviatan could have gotten a timing cat to flank him from A, so he backtracks to clear A main. And so he coincidentally perfectly slips away from Aspas.
Worried, thinking he has to re-clear this one. Tex as well, just trying to make sure that he feigns that he could be pushing deep into...
30 seconds left.
G2 aren't giving Leviatan anything. So with less than 30 seconds left and the spike all the way top mid still, Leviatan called to save. G2 take the lead 4-3, but Leviatan are about to make the change that will alter the course of this game. Leviatan got dismantled by G2 last round, more specifically by Jonah P's crossmap, KO knife, and a main flank. Leviatan are saying, okay, so our idea to go B main behind our Cypher util was good, but it just didn't work because we had 0 presence A main. And because of that, Jonah P didn't feel the need to knife A main like he usually does, and instead knifed B main. So this round, Leviatan are evolving their strat. They open with a 3-0-2 spread, 2 players to default and show presence A main, while the spike is starting towards B, behind their usual Cypher B main default. But Leviatan aren't the only ones adapting. G2 also changed the setup. They open with a 2-0-3 spread. KO is starting B now instead of A, and Sova is starting Garden instead of B. What could this change mean? A lot of ults are online. Let's see how this round plays out. The barriers drop, G2 one-ways A main while King TPs onto the stack. King then throws his lurk smoke A main as Calm recons wine. Calm then spams through the one-way a bit, making even more noise A main. While King and Calm are pressuring A, towards B, Tex begins his usual Cypher default. He cages forward, then cams B main. The cam doesn't spot anything, so his teammates begin walking up. Then Tex is like, wait, let's just hold for a sec. Leaf might try to peek and break my cam again.
Cage nice and early.
Remember, Nazino was going for this last time, where he was looking to try to throw a grab net, get confirmation, and then follow up a kill with the Annihilation.
Ooh, Tex keeps tapping his cam, trying to make it sound real juicy to bait out a peek, and Aspas and Mazino are posted and ready to punish. Will Leaf take the bait?
Where he was looking to try to throw a grab net, get confirmation, and then follow up a kill with the Annihilation.
Over there.
I'll go for it again. Just holding out that util. Jonah P, what time are you trying to take? He's got a flash out.
He is not taking the bait. Wait, it's because G2 have a contact set up in place. Leaf's turret is giraffe now, holding first contact B main. Leaf himself is posted in a knock angle, ready to beam the tagged up B main attackers, and Jonah P has a pop flash ready to flash off contact. But here's where it gets spicy. On the other side of the map, Trent, in Garden, has a Silva ult ready. So off turret contact, Leviatan will get pop flashed, then Silva ulted from A. And the Silva ult line from Garden to B main is absolutely perfect. Now the question is, will Leviatan trigger this trap?
Flash out into his hands, underhanded.
Off turret.
Again, players don't think they're going to be blinded. This anti-flash position, that's where Tex is playing. Tucked to the side. Turret doesn't see anything. Cage forward.
Leviatan cages across and trips the choke. The cage blocks off the turret's line of sight and threatens across to the other corner. And the trip holds all of B main control for Leviatan. With that, G2's setup is countered. B main and A main is Leviatan's, and both have been really quiet. They have no control of mid though, so Leviatan knows G2 could be walked out. So Leviatan called to re-clear mid. But this is a difficult task, especially since IC is upping. So to make this clear less risky, Leviatan called to first fake an A hit. King smokes door, Calm drones out. Valen responds with a stall smoke mid sight. Good smoke for stall, but bad for info. But that's alright. Jonah P knives B main for info in case it's a fake. The knife scans nothing. At the same time, Trent drones mid from gate. The drone sees nothing close market. B main and market clear. It looks like an A hit. So G2 break their B main setup. Leaf begins rotating mid and Jonah P breaks the Cypher trip. But Leviatan also know G2's knife saw nothing. This is perfect, they're saying. G2 probably think we're actually hitting A. So with the spike in hand, Leviatan called to walk back into B main for a B hit. And to sell this A fake even further, King throws a deeper smoked A and fake TPs, all while the pack of Leviatan slowly creep up B. But Jonah P takes his flash out, ready to pop flash off the turret that's still up.
Still with a flash. His timing is everything. There it is. Hunter's Fury and a flash. All combined, connected, but where's the damage? Needs to get done right now. Annihilation. That's out through the window, I believe. Jonah P. He's going to be plucked out of sight, out of eye now for them, and now one less player to deal with.
Mazino was looking for that the last 2 rounds, eventually found it. They still have a site to take.
Leaf. Spray and pray with this one as well. With that Odin spam, they do still have that site to take. 20 seconds left. Luckily, nobody from G2 hard anchoring into that spot. And the players are being caught way out into the open. Aspas has worked the man purely into the neutral. Didn't look like there was too much in terms of util to set that one up. And now G2 forced to back away.
Tex just as the distraction. Aspas doing the damage. Taken down eventually, but this time they swap roles. Aspas distracts. Tex closes Valen. Icy tries to save the operator.
And Calm was somehow all the way A already and flanks Icy to take the op out of his hands. It's never safe to save when Calm is alive. With that, Leviatan tie up the score, 4-4. The round score is equal, but the economy is not. With this full buy, G2 barely have any funds in the bank. So if Leviatan win this round, they will bankrupt G2. This is a very important round for both teams. G2 opened with a 2-2-1 spread, but they've shifted the players around again. Omen and Killjoy B, KO and Sova mid, and Jet opping A heaven. G2 have a play prepared for mid, but Leviatan aren't mid. They're opening with a 1-1-3 A main default. The bears drop, Jonah P flashes mid.
Series so far, you've been treated two teams that are really pushing each
G2 don't find any kills tiles. At the same time, A main, Leviatan, Omen TPs, Deadlock Net, then Silver Recon Wine. King smokes a choke, A main controlled is Leviatan's. Calm farms the alt orb, his Silver ult is now online. Off the A main noise, G2 begins shifting towards A, but Leviatan aren't rushing in. Instead, they enter the next phase of their default. Mazzino places his sensor A and King gets inserted into Wine. Then, the pack of Leviatan begin grouping up mid, but they've been quiet for too long and G2 want info. Jonah P throws a kill knife line up towards A main, and Trent begins droning Cat from Garden. Jonah P's knife lands, it scans nothing.
At some point.
The drone spots 3 Leviatan players. G2 know that Leviatan are in a transition phase of their default, so G2 split off in a 2-0-3 spread. Leviatan slowly creep up mid. Balan one-ways Cat to stop a Cat push. Mazzino works up Cat, then places a sensor down to secure that space. Calm drones up mid, it spots G2's alarm bot. At the same time, Tex works a B main and trips a B main choke. Jonah P instantly breaks it. But from G2's perspective, it looks like Leviatan could be splitting B, so Valen shifts towards mid. Trent shocks Cat, breaking Mazzino's sensor, which threatens a G2 re-aggression from Cat. So Leviatan speed up mid.
Play a little bit more of a passive defense on this map. Looking to rely on good anchoring.
Aspas is really getting a move on. I think the requirement here from Lev is to create some pressure onto the map. Knife up into mids. A couple of connections, maybe some good information as well. Smoke right at the top of the mid. But what is the goal here for Leviatan? Into the B split? Looks like they're heavy committed into it. Even King for the backstab, but what comes down to that?
Leviatan wall CT and Recon's B site. It looks like a B split, but in reality, King and Mazzino are looking to catch G2 aggressing elsewhere.
Even King for the backstab, but what comes down to that? Dart through, in through the back of the site. Onto B, Hunter's Fury, out into the open. Nobody watching as the smoke fades and dissipates. Just running themselves away here. Odin spam and praying that they get that open access. Spike has been dropped down, out through mid as well. It's chaos and anarchy, but at least it is Leviatan that maybe able to salvage most of this. Aspas, operator in his hands, making sure that nobody can overstep their mark and into this space.
Leviatan's B-split fake triggered a wave of kills all around the map, and in the end, Leviatan got the spike down in time and wiped out G2. Leviatan pulled ahead 5-4 while G2 goes bankrupt. G2 call a timeout. Since G2 are on a bad buy, Leviatan are expecting them to get aggressive, so Leviatan open with the 1-2-2 default. Tex is holding B main from spawn, Aspas and Calm are holding mid from top mid, and Mazzino and King are doing their usual anti-push A main default. But G2 are not pushing. Instead, they are stacking the sites. Towards B, they have a contact setup prepared. KO flashing off Killjoy turret contact and Leaf peeking off it. So the question is, will Leviatan walk into the trap B main? Or will they avoid it? The Bears drop, Balan one-ways A main. King TP's up top and Mazzino throws his close sensor.
Struggle for G2 to be disrupted at any point here.
It's quiet A main. At the same time, Calm and Aspas double swing mid with their big guns. They see nothing. Leviatan then smoke Cat and Recon close arches. Nothing scanned, mid is quiet. So Leviatan enter the next phase of their plan. Tex begins moving towards B main while everyone else begins grouping A main. So Leviatan is calling for Cypher to pressure B main, draw some rotates, while the rest of the team executes A. So Leviatan are about to hit G2's weak site.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the classic way that G2 play, but when you're at this point in the competition, when you're fighting for regional trophies, you actually should be good enough to come up with stuff like that on the fly. You know, put two players inside a smoke over towards Catwalk, off Icy's contact, explode through it, crunch mid. These kind of ideas, not really seeing them from G2.
Drone potentially spawning in. Icy's supposed to be the bait here. Straight from the side as well. That was valid. Flash not really getting any value. Still crouched down, by the way, and Mazzino knows exactly where he's off to.
Mazzino building up another Annihilation would be another problem for G2 to deal with. But it's Aspas that lands a blow to Jonah's chest.
Yeah, at this point, it's farming round, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure that Aspas really needs this one, but he's going to go for it anyway.
And Leviatan flawlessly run over G2. Leviatan stretched their lead, 6-4. But next round, G2 will be back on a full buy. They called a timeout earlier. Will what they discussed be enough to stop Leviatan? Armed with a full buy, G2 opened with a 3-0-2 spread. This B stack is kind of crazy, since not only do G2 have their Sova, Odin, and Killjoy util set up B, they're also stacking an op on top of that. Leviatan might not expect B side to be this stacked. Speaking of Leviatan, they open with a 1-2-2 default, their usual A main default to pressure A main, set for default B main, and an op tiles to punish any G2 responses in mid. We dive right in, Balance aggressively holding onto A main control, pretending he's hard contesting the space in hopes that Leviatan rotate B off that. Comes recon lands, Balance shoots it, but not before the recon gets his first scan off. Balance is forced to back off, but since Leviatan are behind the one-way smoke, they don't actually know if G2 reinserted themselves into wine. Well, with no pushes spotted B main or mid, Leviatan move on to the next phase of their default. King smokes Cat, Calm joins up mid, but G2 hear this, so they break their B stack in response.
They're going to be sitting comfortable. Aspas set up with the updraft now. Watch for that peak.
With Leviatan showing mid presence and G2 not having A main control, they know they could be getting split on. So Valen smokes A main to take some A main control. But King, who's holding A main, sees the smoke and responds with his deep lurk smoke, denying G2's line of sight into A main. Trent wants info, so he Sova drones up mid.
Just giving them so much room.
Yeah.
No contest over towards Cap. Very passive.
Aspas is forced to reposition. At the same time, Tex peeks B main and breaks G2's Killjoy turret. G2's deep B main info is gone. With G2 losing B main control and knowing that Leviatan could have hidden from the drone mid, G2 know that a B split could be coming. So they set out into their setup, a 1-2-2 spread, an op holding B main, and a deadly crossfire market. Leviatan are gathered mid now. What will they do next?
Playing behind the turret contact for a while, but Leaf loses alarm bot, loses turret, and G2 can't really retake info anywhere else. They are getting slowly pushed further and further back.
I mean, look at the player positions.
At least they've got a crossfire going here in mid.
Leviatan are about to run into the crossfire.
And Trent joined up. Watching it out for each other, moving off the position, but no.
Trent leaves the setup right as Leviatan walks up. The timing.
Position, but no. Grooving back again, just thinking twice about it. It's a high ground off angle. He's flashed up, blind as anything. Try to adjust the aim in time. Yet Trent and Icy, at least are there. Ready to respond, ready to at least maybe even this one out. Grab that. How the hell does that connect? Updraft will only save you for but a moment. Quick scope. And okay, I mean, pistol out. Got to make a go of things, I suppose, but Aspas is quick on the cleanup. 14 seconds left, dart not being broken, the Blade Storms are out, and Tex is still defending. Both players of G2 now, Valen and Jonah P are locked out. Pretty initial choke point, but the smoke will at least get them front section. So one of the sides of the sights, Aspas though is still this problem. You need to deal with this guy. He's taking over the game.
And Leviatan are absolutely snowballing out of control. They widen their lead, 7-4. Leviatan are like, you know, G2 haven't aggressed all game, and everything they've tried so far hasn't been working. I think they're finally going to make an aggressive play this round. So Leviatan opened with a 2-1-2 spread, Tex and Calm starting all the way in spawn, Aspas with his op top mid, and Mazzino and King doing their usual A main default. And Leviatan's read is right. G2 opened with 2 hugging the B main barriers, op hugging the mid barrier, Sova ready to support the push with a recon lineup, and Killjoy anchoring A with all her util to stop an A main hit. So Leviatan's opening completely counters G2's. How will this round pan out?
Making it far too easy for Lev.
Gonna see that proactivity, and it's immediately punished. Off the back of all of it, tripping their face, trying to crunch these players, potentially. Tex might have been playing there, but
Where's King gone?
I'm not too sure. TP's committed all around. King's up into the spawn, he's flipped the map for them.
He's cosplaying as a defender.
G2's positions are known, so Leviatan called to huddle up and plow through B main together, while King finds himself surrounded deep in enemy territory. But does G2 know?
That information, and ORFF reveals quite a lot for King. He knows the position to be played, and they just don't expect it. Hello, Leaf. Spots him out. King's worried about the flying and a repeat, but okay, composure's there. He's from the IGL.
And Trent's trapped.
Yeah, nowhere to go. They know where he is now.
The saddest way to end a half here. A desperation play from G2.
And Leviatan destroys G2, ending the half 8-4. Hey, and don't forget to check out War Thunder using my link for a free bonus pack.